So today we are going to work on a church arrangement. The church arrangement, specifically, she wanted something for a lady. Her mama loved the color purple, and she loved hydrangeas. And so this is in loving memory of her mom that's going to be placed on the altar at church on Sunday. I'm starting out with a container. This is just a container that we had in storage, and so I just pulled it out. It's kind of a gold color, but I thought it was neutral enough that it would work as a arrangement for the altar. So I have started out with a little fresh floral foam. It's actually 2 blocks of floral foam. This container is deeper than it looks. So I cut 1 block in half and I put it on the very bottom of this container. And then I put a solid block of foam on top of that one. And then to wedge it in, and I'll bring it closer to the camera, to wedge it in, I just added the 2 pieces of foam on each side. And that way it just keeps that foam sturdy and it's standing up straight. And then I took some tape that is a waterproof tape, and I taped it all the way across so that it would stay in place. Now the next thing we're going to do, I did fill the reservoir with water so it had plenty of fresh water. The next thing we're going to do is take a little bit of palm. This is, I believe it's called TP, and I am going to cut that stem at an angle, and we are going to make a fanned shape with our foliage. So what I mean by a fan shape, it's really a one-sided arrangement. Most often we do church arrangements one-sided. So what that means is it's flat on the back, and all the flowers are facing forward, because you don't go around. This is not an arrangement that you see the back of at all. It's actually sitting on the altar, kind of up against a wall most often, and so you don't even see the back, so it's not necessary that you put your money on the back side. So you can see how I'm kind of doing a fan shape with my foliage, and I'm taking each piece of greenery and I'm cutting that stem at an angle using my floral knife and just pressing it right into that foam. Now when you use fresh floral foam, you always want to be careful and do your very best to place it in the foam exactly where it needs to stay. If you cut it, put it in the foam, pull it out, stick it in the foam, pull it out, stick it in the foam, and you continue to do that motion, what happens is the foam breaks. And if the foam breaks, it'll basically disintegrate. It's not going to hold all the flowers you're going to put in. So anytime you're working with fresh floral foam, do your best to make that first insertion the one that it needs to stay. And it's okay if you pull it out once, but try to do your best to make it stay, okay? So I'm just going all the way around. All right, so we're greened out with our palm branch. Next, we're going to use some really pretty spiral eucalyptus. So eucalyptus is one of my favorite things to work with. I love the fragrance of eucalyptus and I love the look. I love the color. So if you ever ask me, I am a huge fan of eucalyptus, but there's tons of varieties that we use. A lot of the varieties of eucalyptus are often more of a drippy, hanging down euc. This is an upright euc, and so it gives us a little bit of a line flower, and that's something that we're missing for this arrangement is some line flower. So we're going to use our eucalyptus in place of line flower. This is called baby blue eucalyptus, and often when you think of eucalyptus and the fragrance, you're thinking baby blue euc or spiral eucalyptus. So I'm going to take this eucalyptus, I am going to cut that stem at an angle, and we're just going to tuck this pretty euc right into that floral foam. Now I'm going to use it really as a line flower. Again, I don't have any for this arrangement, so this eucalyptus is going to give us that line in this arrangement. So next we're going to come in with our mass flower. So a flower that she was very particular, she really wanted in this arrangement was a hydrangea. And so we have some beautiful white hydrangeas that we're going to use in this arrangement. So we're going to put those in place and then we will work around those. They're going to be our mass flower or our focal flower. So often when you think of a line flower just gives us line, almost like this eucalyptus does. It just gives us some lines, okay? A mass flower or a focal flower is a large flower. And often a focal flower almost looks like a face. It's just the focus, right? I'm going to pull this, I pulled the plastic off of this hydrangea. I'm pulling the foliage off. Now the reason I choose to pull the foliage off of the hydrangea is because we talked about the stem being a straw. Hydrangeas, the name hydrangea means water loving, and so when this stem drinks the water, instead of when you pull that foliage off, what happens is it goes straight to the head of the flower instead of having to take turns to go to the leaves. And so when you pull those leaves off, you just remove that little stop that the water has to make. And so it goes directly to the head. So that's the reason you see me removing the foliage from the hydrangeas. Now I have a little glass tube of a quick dip, which is a hydrating solution, and we use quick dip, or I personally use quick dip for hydrangeas. You can use quick dip for other flowers. Hydrangeas are really my main focus when it comes to a quick dip, because hydrangea needs a little extra help drinking that water, and that's exactly what the quick dip does. It just gives it a boost, a little bit of a water boost. So I'm going to take that stem, I'm going to cut it at an angle using my floral knife, and I am going to dip it in the quick dip and count to 7. Okay, and then I'm going to take that hydrangea and press it right down into that floral foam. Again, you can see what I mean by calling this a mass flower. It's a big ball, it's a mass, right? I'm going to take a second bloom. I'm going to pull that foliage right off. And I'm going to fluff that hydrangea just a little bit. So these hydrangeas, we like to leave that sleeve on them because our cooler is metal. And if we leave the sleeve on this hydrangea, the blooms won't touch the metal wall. So if in case you get that bucket too close to the wall, that sleeve protects those blooms from touching that cold metal wall. So that's why we leave the sleeves on our hydrangeas. And that's just preference. You don't have to if you don't want to, but it just it gives us an extra layer of protection on those hydrangeas. So I'm just removing those leaves. Now there is a little spot on this hydrangea, so I'm just going to pinch it off. Just pinch any spots right out. It's not going to hurt it. And then I'm going to fluff that bloom just a little. There's our pretty bloom. Now I think we're going to go here, like right there with that hydrangea. So anytime you're making an arrangement and you want to kind of figure out exactly where it needs to go, hold it up to the arrangement. Kind of figure out, okay, is that good? Do I need it over here? Do I want it up here? So I think right about there. So I'm going to cut that stem at an angle. I'm going to dip it in my quick dip. So the lady who placed the order again loves purple. And so we got in some purple dyed roses from our company that we order flowers from. It's called Budsy. And so roses don't come in this vibrant of a purple, but it really is a lovely, lovely purple shade. Now these are, the variety of rose is a mondal, but they have dyed it with a floral dye. Now I have never dyed flowers with actual floral dye. I don't really know exactly how it all works. I have taken carnations and use like a food coloring dye and let the carnations drink the water and their little heads turn colors, right? Or their little blooms turn colors. But I have never had a flower dye with such pigment, and it's beautiful. Just a really pretty, bold purple color. So I have taken each of these blooms and I have wired them. I did save one to wire so I could show you. So here at our flower shop, you've seen me do this. If you've watched any of our videos, you've seen me do this before. I prefer to wire my blooms, wire the heads of these roses. So what I'm going to do is, this is just a florist wire, 21 gauge. I cut it into thirds, so this is about a third of one of the long wires. I'm going to take it and press it into the little swollen part, which is called the calyx, right up underneath the head of the rose. And I am going to wrap that wire just right around that stem. Now what this does, when this flower, or if this flower, as it ages, it's going to not draw water nearly as easily. And so to keep your flowers fresh, we ask that fresher for longer, because of course they're not going to last forever, right? To keep your flowers fresher for longer, you are going to pull those flowers out of the vase, give them a good cut, and change the water about every other day. Well, not everybody does that, of course. And so to ensure that this head is going to stay standing up and it's not going to dip, we like to wire our roses. And so that just keeps that little head from dipping down, because as they get dehydrated, their heads get heavy for those stems, and so that little head will dip down. This wire just ensures that that head's going to stay up and firm. So I'm going to, I have, I think, about 10 roses, 10 of these beautiful purple roses, and I am going to add them to this container. So I'm going to start out, we're going to use our roses kind of as our line flower like we did our eucalyptus. And we're going to start out with one kind of in the tip top. We're going to make it our height. So I'm going to take my floral knife, cut that stem at an angle, and we're going to put him right in the very center. Next, we're going to keep stepping down. So I'm going to take this rose and I'm just going to do another step down. Now, you can, I'm going to add these roses all the way around in this arrangement, but you can see how slowly but surely I'm working myself all the way around by just doing a step down in the arrangement. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The next rose we're going to do out. So again, we're doing a fan shape. So I'm going to do, they're going to kind of go parallel in this arrangement. So I'm going to take my next rose. All right. So there's our roses. I want to say 3, 6, 9, 10, 11. 11 total roses in this arrangement. So just a deep, beautiful, royal purple in that arrangement. Now the next flower I chose to add to this arrangement is these beautiful pink lilies. So these are called oriental lilies, and oriental lilies are very fragrant lilies, but I thought this very soft, blushy, cream colored lily would be beautiful in here and really look like a sweet lady. So I am going to take them one at a time, and you're going to make sure that the anthers are pulled off of those lilies, and they are out of here. So I'm going to take, and I'm just going to strip down that foliage. I'm going to figure out, where do I want him? I think right in here, there's a void right there in that arrangement. So I'm going to take my floral knife, cut that stem at an angle, and I'm just going to put him right there in that void, in that empty spot, okay? I'm going to take a second bloom, really pretty bloom, and he's going to go right here in this empty spot, kind of right between these two roses here. So I'm going to take my knife, cut that stem at an angle, press that lily right there into that empty space there, okay? All right, so this one I wanted to show you, this one has the anthers. So these are the anthers, and this is called the stamen of a lily, that center piece. Now you're going to be sure to pull these out of the lily. Now these contain the pollen, and when these open up, or when they mature, they're going to open up and they're going to cause yellow pollen to get all over your lilies and all over your clothes. Well, that yellow pollen stains the lily, and so it's not pretty. So if you see, or when you see that lily start to crack open, be sure to pull the anthers from the lily, because then it won't stain the lily. It's important. It makes your lilies last longer and stay prettier. So I think it needs this lily here. So I'm going to take that stem, cut it at an angle, cut it there. Okay, so there are our pretty lilies. Okay, so to fill out this arrangement and to add some color into some of these void places, I am going to use some filler flower. Now, filler flower does exactly what its name says. It fills in the space. And so you can see here that there are some void spaces. There's some spaces that just need a touch of color. That's exactly what our filler flower is going to do. Now, there's lots of varieties of what we call filler flowers. Baby's breath. This is called solidago. It's a type of aster, Monte Cassino aster, wax flower. Lots of pretty things that you can use to fill or use as a filler flower. And that's what we're going to do today with our solidago. Now, you did see me, I stuck it in and then I pulled it out. Just be careful not to do that often, okay? I'm gonna take one and tuck it here. So anywhere I think that there is a little bit of a void and it needs something, I'm going to take and tuck that filler. I'm gonna tuck a couple here, one here, here, and kind of come all the way around with it. But you see how it's just adding a little bit of color into this arrangement where there are voided places or places that just don't have any flowers. Often when it doesn't have a flower, you're going to see a dark spot, and it's okay. It is okay to have negative space. And what I mean by that is it's okay that there's not a flower here. It's okay that it has some empty spaces, because it does give interest to an arrangement. All right, and there is our finished altar arrangement for church on Sunday. So this arrangement includes the white hydrangeas, which were very important to the client. She wanted white hydrangeas because Mother loved hydrangeas. We used the purple roses because that was one of her favorite colors. I love it when a client calls you or a customer calls and says, Monty, this is what Mama would have loved, and gives me a list of things to use, because it means that I am able to make an arrangement special for her sweet mama, in loving memory of her sweet mama. And so the first thing she thinks is, Mama would have loved it. And so we used white hydrangeas, we used a blush pink oriental lily, we used solidago, and our greenery, our foliage that we used was TP palm, which is a type of palm branch, some eucalyptus. This was spiral eucalyptus. And that was it. So very simple, very pretty, and I think she will be very pleased. Guys, thank you so much for being here with me this afternoon. If you have any questions about how we do things here at the Flower Shop, please don't hesitate to ask. You can ask it right here in this comment, and we will be happy to get back to you. You can email us at flowersbythebunch@yahoo, or you can send us a message over on Facebook at Flowers by the Bunch. Also, if you like this video and you like videos like this, we do live videos over on Facebook every single afternoon. So we'd love to have you join us there. If you like it, if you like the video, please give us a thumbs up. And if you have not already subscribed to our channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button, and that little bell down below will give you notifications for when we go live. Thanks, guys. Have a great evening.